Right then, folks, a really quick video. I'm about to start the Dunwich Legacy campaign for Arkham Horror. It's my first time building my own deck. I've not used to start one. So I'm going to quickly go through that so people who are watching them can come back to this and look if they want to see what I'm taking. I'm not going to start for a good few days, so if anybody's got any ideas on what really just won't work with this, I don't want one of the net decks. I know that there are great ones out there and I have read them, but I've had a look and I've tried to make my own out of the cards I've got, and I've never played a survivor before, but this time we're going to be using Ashcan Pete. So Ashcan Pete, let's see whether or not this will work. I think it's going to be a bit grainy, but bear with me. I thought it's better than it being tiny. So Ashcan Pete, and he's accompanied by his dog. He's a bit of like a drifter. So he's got his guitar there. So he's looking pretty cool. I may have to rename Duke the chicken dog. But so he's got stats of 4 for willpower, 2 for knowledge, 2 for combat, and 3 for agility. He starts the game with his faithful dog Duke in play. For his special ability, he can do a free action basically to discard a card from his hand to ready an asset. So that's like getting Duke ready to go. And on a Elder Sign symbol or a Eldritch symbol, you get +2 and you ready Duke. So yeah, that's him. This is Duke, his dog, his faithful hound. Maybe it's better there actually. Ooh, there we go. So it's an ally, but it doesn't take up an ally slot. Now, I didn't realise that when I started putting the deck together. So that could definitely be a hole in my strategy. So because Ashcan isn't great at either investigating or fighting, Duke does that for him. So Duke can be used to fight with a base skill of 4, and it does +1 damage. Or he can also be used to investigate, and he investigates with a skill of 4, and he can also investigate adjacent areas. And basically, he's going to add 2 health and 3 willpower sanity, or whatever it's called, to Pete, who's got 6 and 5. So it in effect makes him an 8 and an 8. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using those. The treachery card that comes with Pete that you have to take is Racked by Nightmares. I'm not going to read into that because I want it to be a bit of a surprise. So here you go. Here's what we've taken. This is my suggestion. So let's see what people think. I'll try and keep it on this grainy low one. I don't know if it's in fact it's probably better to go on to the other. If the tight one there is worth putting on, just let me know, but I think this one looks a bit sharper. So we're going to go with 2 copies of Leather Coat. That's basically armor for 2 extra strength. We're going to go for Scrapper because I envisage that Pete is going to be, having lived on the streets, I think he's going to be pretty good at either hightailing it or having a fight at a push. So if that's on, I get, for a resource, I get +1 to a combat or an agility. I'm going to take 2 Lucky. So when I'd fail a test, I get +2 to it. I'm quite looking forward to that. I think that Pete's lucky. He's going to take 2 Scavenging because, you know, he lives on the streets and all that. So if I successfully investigate by 2 or more, I can exhaust this and choose an item from my pile. This might be one of the ones that I look to get rid of. I'm not sure yet. Test of Will. Fast play when I'd draw a non-weakness treachery card. I get to test willpower. If I succeed, I cancel its revelation. That seems pretty good based on what we saw in the Mythos deck in the last campaign. We've got Rise to the Occasion. This is another one I'm not 100% sure on. So this is if I'm 2, I can only commit this. It's strong because it's 3 question marks, so it can be applied to any test, but I can only commit it if the difficulty is too higher. Now that's only ever going to be if if it's against my will. So I suppose if something comes out the Mythos deck, or if I get ambushed or attacked by something, it's just, yeah, it's there in the back pocket. I've got some bandages, basically for Duke, keep him on his feet. Jury rig, I've got 2 of those, and I'm taking, this adds 2 to a skill test if I've attached it to an item. And the weapon of choice I'm going to be taking is the sledgehammer. So the sledgehammer is basically, if I do a 1 action fight, I'll get -1 combat, +1 damage, which could be quite good for using with that against the odds, or rise to the occasion, sorry. But if I do a 2 action fight, I guess +2 combat, and I deal 2 damage, extra damage. So the idea is that I get that and I jury rig it, and I'm going to go hitting stuff with my big hammer. I've then got 2 perceptions for +2 to investigate. I thought that they'd be pretty good to trigger the scavenging. I've got 2 overpowers to give me a bit of extra fight. I'm assuming I can use this with Duke. If people don't think I can, let me know. But that's overpower, so an extra 2 combat. Or again, to the mighty sledgehammer. Guts are there to help me with the willpower checks when I really need them. I've got my smoking pipe. This is to replenish a bit of horror. Take damage in exchange for healing horror. I learned from the last one when Roland only had 1 sanity by the end of it that recovering horror is really important. 2 emergency caches that he's obviously, you know, buried some stuff for a rainy day, hopefully a sledgehammer. So that's going to get me some resources. Now I've got a first aid kit. Again, this is a healer, a damage or a horror. The good thing about Pete, because he comes from the Dunwich Legacy cycle, basically, the characters can take levels 1 to 5. They all have to start off at level 0. Cards from red from survivor or neutral, but they can also take up to 5 off character cards. So I've gone with the first aid for one of them. This is heal damage or horror to himself. I might switch that for another bandages, I'm not sure yet, but I'll see. I've gone for a rosary. He's a bit superstitious, so he thinks, you know, there might be something there. He's not dumb. So that gives +1 willpower and a bit more sanity to burn. I am scared of that, as you can tell. Clarity of mind. It's a spell, but it's not a spell because he's not a spellcaster. It's more about mind over matter. So 3 charges. Each time he spends 1, he heals a horror. We've got Lone Wolf because I'm playing true solo. So if this pops out, I might take this twice. I didn't quite understand when it says 1 per investigator. I thought that meant 1 per deck, but it actually means you can only have 1 active. So if I took an extra one, it might be worth having so it comes out quicker. That gives me an extra resource per turn. And then finally, I'm out of here because Roland showed us that, well, I'm not averse to just bailing if things look bad. So you can use this if there's a resign scenario card in play, and you can just get out and go. So I've no idea what's in the Dunwich Legacy. I don't want to know. I know the story, but I don't want any spoilers. I've not watched anything, not even opened the cards yet, and I'm going to go through it. If there's anything, if you know about deck building in Arkham Horror, and I've done anything there that just doesn't synergize, and you think, oh, I mean, don't give me advice on how to rebuild the deck. I know there's better and more efficient ways, but this looks a bit of fun to me. But if there's something there that just absolutely doesn't work, yeah, I'd appreciate if you let me know. Just stick it in the comments, and yeah, we'll give it a go. And then coming soon to a solo series playthrough near you will be the Dunwich Legacy. Dunwich, you decide. Thank you very much.